Let me tell you something. You know what most people don't realize? One of the greatest powers you will ever have in your life is the power to walk away. See, too many of us keep holding on to things, people, jobs, relationships, habits, stuff that's been draining us for years. And you're sitting there wondering why you feel stuck, why your peace is gone, why your dreams look like they're slipping away. It's because you're trying to breathe life into something that's already dead. The power of walking away is one of the strongest yet most misunderstood decisions a person can ever make. Too often people think that staying in a difficult situation means strength, that holding on means loyalty, and that walking away is a sign of weakness or fear. But in reality, the opposite is true. Walking away requires courage, wisdom, and an understanding of your own value. It is a choice rooted in self-respect, and it often becomes the very turning point that opens the door to a new and better chapter of life. Think about it. So many people remain stuck in jobs where their talents are overlooked, in relationships where their hearts are constantly broken, or in environments that strip away their peace of mind. They convince themselves that if they just try harder, give more, or stay longer, things will get better. But the truth is, not everything is meant to be fixed, and not every door is meant to stay open. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for yourself is to stop fighting battles that were never yours to win and start walking toward the life you truly deserve. Walking away is not about giving up. It's about recognizing when something no longer serves you, when it drains more from your spirit than it gives, and when staying would only keep you from the opportunities waiting on the other side. It's not easy because walking away means facing the unknown. It means leaving behind the familiar, even when that familiar is painful. Yet that is exactly why it is powerful, because it requires faith in yourself, in your future, and in the fact that there is something greater beyond what you are leaving. Many people confuse endurance with wisdom. They think staying in a bad situation proves their loyalty or patience, but endurance without purpose only leads to unnecessary suffering. Real strength is not holding on to what hurts you. It is having the discipline to release it. Real wisdom is not waiting for people to change. It is realizing that sometimes the change has to come from you by walking away. When you walk away, you make space for what is meant for you. Life has a way of rewarding courage. Every time you choose yourself over toxicity, every time you leave a situation that is beneath your worth, you create room for the blessings that couldn't find you while you were stuck in the wrong place. They may hurt in the moment, but pain is temporary. What follows is freedom, peace, and the ability to finally pursue the opportunities that align with your true potential. The power of walking away is not only about leaving people or jobs behind. It's also about walking away from fear, from doubt, from the little voice that tells you that you're not good enough. It's about rejecting the habits and mindsets that keep you small. It's about saying, I refuse to keep living like this. I choose better. That choice, repeated over time, reshapes your entire life. Walking away does not close your story. It turns the page. It marks the beginning of a new chapter filled with possibilities you couldn't have imagined while holding on to the wrong things. It is a declaration that your future is more important than your past and that your peace is worth more than anyone's approval. When you walk away from what diminishes you, you walk toward what was always meant for you. That is the power of walking away. Walking away does not equal weakness. In fact, it is one of the bravest actions a person can take. Society often tells us that strength means holding on, enduring, and never letting go. People applaud those who stay in situations long past their expiration date, as if loyalty to pain is a badge of honor. But the truth is, there is no weakness in choosing yourself, in valuing your peace, and in stepping away from what breaks you. Walking away is not running from responsibility. It is running towards self-respect, freedom, and a better life. Many people remain where they are because of fear. They fear being judged, fear being alone, fear starting over, or fear the unknown. Fear convinces them that walking away would prove they weren't strong enough to handle what life placed before them. But here's the reality. It doesn't take strength to stay where you are mistreated, unappreciated, or unhappy. That's not strength, that's survival. True strength shows up when you make the tough choice to leave, even though it scares you, because you know deep inside that your worth demands more. Choosing to walk away is a decision rooted in clarity. It says, I see what this situation is doing to me. I see how it's draining my energy, breaking my spirit, or holding me back. And even though leaving is hard, staying would destroy me. That is not weakness. That is wisdom combined with courage. It takes a bold spirit to admit that something isn't working and to take steps toward a better alternative. Some people stay in unhealthy relationships because they don't want to look like a failure. They keep working at jobs that make them miserable because they think quitting would mean they couldn't handle it. But the truth is, walking away isn't about failure at all. It's about refusing to let failure define your life. It's about refusing to waste your time in places that do not value what you bring to the table. Weakness is pretending you're okay when you're not. Strength is saying, this isn't right for me and I deserve better. Walking away also teaches others how to treat you. When you refuse to accept less than what you deserve, you set a standard. You tell the world, I won't allow disrespect, neglect, or mistreatment in my life. That kind of boundary is not built from weakness. It is built from power. Weakness allows mistreatment to continue. Strength says, not here, not anymore. There's also a hidden gift in walking away. It's the gift of growth. When you leave behind what is not serving you, you free yourself to explore new opportunities, to discover new strengths, and to rebuild your life with greater purpose. Growth never happens in comfort zones. If you stay in the same place out of fear, you never expand. But when you walk away, you challenge yourself to rise higher, to adapt, and to step into the unknown with faith that something better is waiting. That is courage in its purest form. Walking away doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you didn't try. It simply means you love yourself enough to stop fighting battles that only bring you pain. It means you're wise enough to understand that staying can cost you your peace, your health, and even your future. Weakness clings to what's familiar, no matter how damaging it is. Strength lets go. So never confuse walking away with weakness. It takes far more strength to leave behind what is hurting you than to stay in it. It takes faith to believe that life has more to offer. It takes courage to walk into the unknown without guarantees, but with the conviction that your worth demands better. Walking away is not weakness. It is the ultimate declaration of strength, self-respect, and hope for a brighter future. Letting go of what drains you is one of the most powerful choices you can ever make for your own well-being. Life is full of challenges, and not everything we face will be easy, but there is a difference between things that stretch you to grow and things that slowly deplete your spirit. What drains you doesn't just take your time. It robs you of your peace, your energy, and in many cases, your joy. And when you allow draining situations, relationships, or habits to remain in your life, you leave little space for the things that could actually build you up and bring you closer to the life you dream of. Think about how often people tolerate things that are draining them every single day. Some stay in jobs that suffocate their creativity and strip them of motivation. They wake up each morning dreading the hours ahead, not because they don't want to work hard, but because their effort feels wasted in an environment that doesn't appreciate them. Others stay in relationships that are filled with negativity, where love has turned into constant criticism or silence, and their hearts ache because they've forgotten what it feels like to truly be seen and valued. Still others surround themselves with friends who who gossip, who discourage, who dim their light whenever they shine too brightly. All of these things slowly wear down the spirit, like carrying heavy baggage on a journey that was meant to be traveled light. Letting go of what drains you is not selfish. It's survival. It is an act of self-respect. Imagine trying to water a garden with a bucket that has holes in it. No matter how much effort you put in, most of the water spills out before it even reaches the soil. That's what happens when you keep pouring your time, love, and energy into things that drain you. You can never fully invest in what truly matters because you're too busy patching holes that were never meant to be yours to fix. It's important to understand that letting go doesn't always mean you stop caring. You can love people deeply and still realize they are not good for your peace. You can be grateful for a job and still understand that it's keeping you from your true potential. You can appreciate a chapter of your life and still close it because it no longer fits who you're becoming. Letting go doesn't erase the good. It simply acknowledges that the season has changed. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to let go is fear. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of the unknown. But what's scarier than letting go is imagining the cost of holding on. Holding on to what drains you will eventually burn you out, break you down, and rob you of the chance to discover what could actually fulfill you. The longer you carry it, the heavier it gets. The heavier it gets, the harder it becomes to move forward. That's why letting go isn't just a choice. It's a necessity for anyone who wants to grow, thrive, and truly live. When you finally decide to let go of what drains you, you'll notice something shift inside. You'll feel lighter. You'll breathe easier. You'll start to see opportunities that were invisible when your vision was clouded by exhaustion and negativity. What drains you blocks your blessings, but once you release it, you create space for new possibilities, healthier relationships, and environments where your energy is returned instead of stolen. Letting go is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the recognition that not everything you start is meant to be carried forever. Some things are only meant to teach you, to prepare you, and then to be released. The real strength comes in knowing when that time has come and having the courage to say, this no longer serves me, I choose peace. In the end, letting go of what drains you is about honoring your worth. It's about believing that your energy is precious, your peace is priceless, and your time is too valuable to waste. When you stop clinging to what drains you, you free yourself to pursue what fuels you, inspires you, and elevates you. That choice may not be easy, but it will always be worth it. Walking away creates space, and that space is often the very thing we need, but are too afraid to embrace. Most people think walking away means losing something, leaving something behind, or giving up too soon. But what they don't realize is that every time you walk away from something that no longer serves you, you are not just leaving, you're making room. Life, much like a house, has only so much capacity. If it's filled with clutter, with things that no longer have value, there's no room for anything new to enter. In the same way, when your life is crowded with draining relationships, dead-end jobs, or self-destructive habits, the blessings that are meant for you have nowhere to land. The act of walking away is not just an ending. It is the creation of space for something greater. Too often people stay in situations because they're comfortable, even if that comfort is slowly suffocating them. They stay in relationships because they've invested so much time, even though that relationship has stopped giving them joy. They stay in jobs because it's secure, even though it kills their creativity and potential. And what happens? They fill their lives with things that take up space but don't bring growth. The truth is, you can't hold on to what isn't working and still expect new doors to open. You can't carry old baggage and still move freely into your future. Walking away clears the path. It creates the mental, emotional, and even physical space for new opportunities to arrive. Think of it like planting. If the soil is already full of weeds, there is no room for flowers to grow. You have to pull the weeds out first, even if the process feels messy or uncomfortable. Walking away works the same way. It can feel painful, like you're uprooting something that's been there for years. But only when you make that space can something beautiful take its place. You cannot expect blessings to bloom in soil that is already occupied by what drains you. Walking away creates space for clarity. When you're surrounded by noise, chaos, or toxic energy, it's almost impossible to think clearly about what you want, who you are, and where you're going. But once you step away, you begin to see things differently. The fog lifts and suddenly you recognize possibilities you couldn't see before. Sometimes clarity doesn't come from finding new answers, but from removing the wrong distractions. It also creates space for growth. Staying in situations that no longer serve, you might feel safe, but safety isn't always progress. Growth requires risk, discomfort, and the courage to step into the unknown. When you walk away, you give yourself the chance to stretch beyond the limits that were holding you back. You create room to discover strengths you never realized you had, to meet people who inspire you, and to chase opportunities that align with your purpose. Walking away even creates space for healing. Carrying wounds from toxic relationships, failed ventures, or disappointing experiences is heavy. Staying in those environments only deepens the hurt. But when you leave, you allow yourself the space to breathe, to recover, and to rebuild. Healing needs room. It can't happen in a place that continues to reopen old wounds. The beauty of walking away is that it always leads to something greater, even if you don't see it immediately. At first, the space might feel like emptiness. You might feel alone, uncertain, or afraid, but that space isn't emptiness. It's opportunity. It's the canvas on which new beginnings can be painted. It's the silence that allows you to hear your own voice again. It's the freedom to invite in what was always meant for you but couldn't reach you while you were holding on to the wrong things. Walking away creates space for peace. And peace, once you find it, is worth more than any job title, any relationship, or any amount of money. That space allows you to breathe without tension, to live without constant stress, and to finally align your life with what truly matters. So the next time you feel torn about walking away, remember this: you are not just leaving something behind, you are creating space for everything you've been praying for, dreaming of, and working toward. That space is where transformation happens. That space is where your future begins. Life is too short for misery, yet so many people spend their days trapped in it, as if suffering were the price of existence. The truth is, time is the one resource you can never get back. Every second you spend unhappy, every moment you give to negativity, and every day you waste in an environment that steals your joy is a piece of your life you will never recover. When you finally understand how limited and precious your time really is, you start to see misery for what it is: a thief. It steals your peace, your energy, your dreams, and sometimes even your health. To continue living in misery is to hand over your life to something that doesn't deserve it. People often convince themselves that misery is normal, that struggling without joy is just part of life. They say that's how relationships are, or that's how work is supposed to feel, as though being constantly unhappy is some kind of badge of responsibility. But there is a difference between working through challenges and choosing to live in misery. Challenges build you, misery drains you. Struggles that grow you are worth enduring, but pain that only breaks you is not worth your time. Think about the relationships where people settle for constant arguments, disrespect, or indifference simply because they are afraid to be alone. They trade peace of mind for the comfort of familiarity, or the jobs people stay in for decades, even though those jobs keep them tired, stressed, and unfulfilled, all because the paycheck feels safer than pursuing their real passions. These choices create lives full of misery. And here's the harsh truth: staying in misery doesn't protect you. It wastes you. It keeps you small when you were meant for more. Life moves fast. None of us knows how much time we truly have. Imagine looking back one day and realizing that years of your life were spent tolerating unhappiness instead of chasing fulfillment. Imagine realizing that you allowed fear to keep you tied to situations that stole your joy. That is why life is too short for misery. The clock is ticking, and every day wasted on what makes you miserable is a day stolen from what could have made you thrive. Choosing joy over misery is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about refusing to accept a life where unhappiness is the norm. It's about deciding that your peace is worth more than someone else's approval, that your dreams are worth more than a steady paycheck that robs you of your spirit, and that your well-being is worth more than staying in places that only bring you down. It's about recognizing that happiness is not selfish, it is necessary. When you step away from misery, you open the door to freedom. You start to see possibilities you couldn't see before. You find the courage to explore new opportunities, to surround yourself with people who uplift you, and to build a life that reflects your true purpose. Misery blinds you to these things, but once you let it go, your vision clears. You realize that the joy you once thought was impossible has been waiting for you all along. You just had to free yourself to find it. Life is a gift, and it was never meant to be spent in constant unhappiness. Yes, pain is part of life, but misery is a choice. Struggles will come, but how you respond to them determines whether you grow stronger or sink deeper into despair. You are not here to simply survive. You are here to live, to love, to laugh, to create, and to leave a mark. Misery robs you of that. Joy restores it. So don't waste another day believing you have to endure what makes you miserable. Walk away from it. Let it go. Rise above it. Your time is too precious. Your soul is too valuable. And your life is too short for anything less than joy, peace, and fulfillment. Walking away is a beginning, though at first it rarely feels that way. In the moment of leaving, it often feels like an ending, a door closing, a chapter finishing, a goodbye you weren't ready to make. People fear walking away because they think it means losing, failing, or giving up. But the truth is, walking away is not the end of your story. It is the start of a new one. It is the moment when you decide that the way things are is not the way they have to be. And that choice opens the path to transformation. Every beginning in life is disguised as an ending. When you walk away from a job that undervalues you, you are not just leaving employment. You are beginning to search for purpose, passion, and fulfillment. When you walk away from a toxic relationship, you are not just saying goodbye to someone else. You are beginning to rebuild yourself, to heal, and to rediscover the love you deserve. When you walk away from bad habits, fear, or self-doubt, you are not just ending old patterns. You are beginning a new chapter of growth, confidence, and freedom. Walking away clears the slate so that life can write something new. It takes courage to see walking away as a beginning, because at first, what you see is the empty space. You see what's missing rather than what's possible. That's why so many people cling to situations that no longer serve them. The pain they know feels safer than the uncertainty they don't. But beginnings are always hidden inside uncertainty. The unknown is not empty. It is full of opportunities waiting for you to claim them. Walking away is how you make room for those opportunities to find you. Think of it like standing at the edge of a cliff. Behind you is the life you've outgrown, and in front of you is a vast horizon you've never explored. Walking away feels like stepping off the edge, like risking a fall. But what you don't realize until you take that step is that you weren't meant to fall. You were meant to fly. That first step away is the hardest, but it is also the one that lifts you into a life you could not have imagined while staying stuck in the old. Walking away is a beginning because it shifts your identity. It teaches you that you are not defined by what you left behind, but by what you choose to walk toward. It proves to you that you are strong enough to let go of what doesn't serve you and brave enough to embrace what comes next. Each time you walk away, you grow. Because you learn to trust yourself, your worth, and your vision for the future. Beginnings often start with pain. You might feel loss, grief, or fear, but that pain is not permanent. It is the soil from which growth emerges. Every great story of transformation starts with someone walking away from what no longer fits. The dream that died, the love that broke, the job that stifled, the version of themselves that no longer matched who they were becoming. Those endings were simply disguises for beginnings that reshaped their lives. Walking away is not running. It is moving forward. It is not about abandoning hope, but about creating space for hope to thrive. It is not about quitting life, but about choosing life in a fuller, freer, more authentic way. When you walk away, you don't just leave something behind. You step into possibility, into purpose, into a future that was waiting for your courage to arrive. So when you reach the moment where you know you must go, don't see it as the end. See it for what it truly is, the beginning of a chapter written with your strength, your vision, and your belief that you deserve better. Walking away is not closing your story. It is turning the page so the next brighter chapter can finally begin.